What is up, everyone? It is Lovenji Gaming, and we are here with a quick, short 4 walls cast. 6-player 4 walls, unfortunately. It's the only map that ever gets played from time to time, but here we are. This is an average Joe's game. There are no pros in this game. The highest rank is a Preacher. I think the lowest rank is a Brave, so we're going to watch some average Joe's fun time. But we'll start with team number 1. Remember, blue team is always team number 1. So, playing as the Blue Tribe, we have Dugs, not affiliated with a clan. Did join AvA for a short while, but didn't stay there. Here's Ally, playing as the Cyan Tribe, also not affiliated with a clan, I think. Here's Cahokiawarrior. And standing at the back of his base, contemplating life, death, and all things, it is CCCP. So that's team 1. Dugs, Cahokiawarrior, and CCCP, the unaffiliated brothers. Their opponents on the other side, representing team 2, we have as the Magenta Tribe. The game is not going to tell me because fuck Lovenji. Representing clan Avenging Angels, AvA, it is TristanFR. The other front base, representing absolutely nobody but himself, it is Christo0972. Lastly, best player on Team 2, mirroring the best player on Team 1, also representing clan Avenging Angels, it is their newest admin, TristanFR. So TristanFR and TristanFR have temporarily adopted Christo into the Avenging Angels ranks. We'll have a little look to see what's going on here. From the world view, it does look like the plans are going down. There's a lot of towers coming down already for Cahokiawarrior. Cahokiawarrior has been sighted in a previous life. TristanFR doing the same. These guys have been sighted in a previous life. Those towers going down instantly. So, I've got a little bit of a misplacing on the Fire Warrior training hut here. This is blue base, so you want hut, and then some people do the Fire Warrior hut here. I do an extra hut, so I do hut, Fire Warrior hut. But it is also acceptable to do hut, Fire Warrior hut. Tucking it in a little bit more just makes it a bit safer. You will also see sometimes, particularly T-Rod popularized it. Frontline Fire Warrior hut gets those Fire Warriors in there super fast. Now, looks like Dugs is building perfectly fine here. What we would expect to see is, yeah, rounds of harvesting has been completed on the trees, though a lot of the trees could still do with being harvested again, re-harvested perhaps. 1.5 build of the game does make that easier. Some okay-ish building from CCCP, slow building across the board. TristanFR's building especially slowly as well. But he's going with his trademark. He loves his early warrior training hut, so I'm not surprised he's getting that before even his fire warrior training hut. So, this is a good point to talk about. No, we've got a little bit of a dually-duel. Earthquake coming in from yellow onto the towers. Not going to do terribly much. This ghost army spam is just a waste of mana. Ghosts aren't doing anything if they're just patrolling like that. Looks like Dugs goes down, but he does get a kill onto the Red Shaman as well. You know, 2 Earthquakes wasted on the front like that. First thing we want to see is additional tower plans going down. We want to see tower, and tower. We want to see this defended. Green has built very risky here. You can still fit some towers here, though. You want a couple of towers on this ridge. Probably want some Fire Warriors in this hut as well. But the building is just slow. So, one tip I can give you for building on 4 walls. Let's find a player who hasn't particularly built very much. Here's one. Here's one I prepared earlier. So we've got TristanFR here. Now, you can see sort of the structure of these huts. They're all facing the same way, which is bad as well. You don't want huts facing the same direction. It increases... It doesn't increase, but the amount of wood that they can share between them means that it feels like it's artificially increased the amount of wood required for the huts to upgrade. But this hut is one you want to build. You sort of want to build on the diagonal for your first huts. And what that allows you to do is get down the maximum amount of plans possible. So if you build like this hut, then this hut, then this hut, you can pretty much plan out almost all of your base. And with the plans down, pretty decent earthquake there from Duds. He's got it in a little bit deeper, which is what I like to see here. The earthquakes, you still don't really want to be using earthquakes on this front strip, although it's acceptable, you know. You're better off holding on that earthquake, maybe open with an early side door, but that said, these players are so paranoid about their side doors. These players are so paranoid about their side doors that actually they've gotten towers exceptionally fast. Even at the cost of building their base. Yeah, see, Christo has tried to be smart here in using towers to build out the back of his base, and you can certainly do that, but you need to know the plan layout a little bit more, because now you've got this row of wasted space that is going to affect how much you build. Now, the Red Shaman has come in and earthquaked nothing against one tower. That's a lot of mana for one tower. Again, when you're playing Populous and you are sort of an average Joe player, and I hear you saying, Lovenji, you kind of suck at Populous, and you're right. I do. But I still feel like I've got enough spectator knowledge to give some tips to people who can execute a little bit better than I can, because that's usually where I fall short, is actually in executing the knowledge. When you've got situations like this, where there's no real targets for the earthquake, you don't need to use your earthquake. You can quickly switch out, charge 2 land bridges, and obtain a valuable target. You know, this piece of land here, you side door into here, this tower's not even filled, and that's a much better target for that one earthquake that Red went for. Now, doesn't matter, the pressure is building up here. Green not moving terribly much as the earthquake goes down on Cahokiawarriors. The single tower, again, these earthquakes are not valuable targets. One ghost army, distract this tower, push further in, you've got the Fire Warrior training hut. You need to think more laterally when you're playing Populous, especially if you're a new beginner to the game. Think about using all the resources available to you. Ghost armies, swarms, these utility spells. They might not feel good as a beginner because they don't damage anything, but they are absolutely crucial in making your attacks devastating and successful. If you watch a player like Spinifex, he's very often, he will charge. He will go 1 earthquake, and then from that 1 earthquake he gets 1 ghost army, and then he gets 1 swarm, and he throws down the ghost army in front of a tower so that he can get the earthquake just that bit deeper in. It's little things like that that add up to just spamming earthquakes in a single spot. So there is a good thing about sort of this earthquake spam in that it's all but ruined the front line. 14-2. They're going to be quite exposed now because the land isn't really ideal. I would actually fill out some of this water if I was Team 2, just so you've got places to build towers, places to walk. At the moment, you're going to get bottlenecked in very quickly, and that could be potentially dangerous. Nice land bridge for CCCP. That's going to allow him to reinforce to the front line a little bit quicker, but you need to build towers along that because it's also a highway into your base. Dugs is doing okay. He's got the wood situation mostly under control. His base isn't finished building. Usually indicates a lack of harvesting. You can see quite a few of the trees have died with 10 minutes in. The base isn't finished. It is a big base, so there is some commiserations from that. But if you're keeping everything chopped down and harvested, you can build a little bit faster than this. Green actually doing all right on his tree front. He's got quite a few trees alive. They are all at 4 wood, so he should be chopping them down a little bit more frequently. I have no idea what is going on in Green's mind there with that flatten. But he's a brave person. What is going on here? So, you're seeing a lot of Ghost Army. This spell can be used to great effect in killing shamans, but when it's not used correctly, you just see a lot of that. Just a lot of nothing. Red Shaman's alive, but doesn't seem to realize it. Earthquake comes in for Doug's Landbridge from Torok Makto to try to save the land. Christo's base got these massive gaps in it, which is a little bit ugly. Torok is doing alright for wood, actually. No, the back of his base has been a bit ravaged. He's got some trees at the front. Poor Cahokiawarrior hasn't even finished building their base. We're 11 minutes in and the base isn't built. So, it's another thing that pros have over our average Joes. I'm trying not to call them noobs, because I think that term, even if it's true, a little bit mean. So I'm going with average Joes. Stolen from Gyle Cass of Supreme Commander fame. If any of you are a fan of Gyle, I know I sure am. I love Supreme Commander, love tournaments. Poor Supreme Commander. I wish I was skilled enough to be a Supreme Commander caster, but I chose Populous. Ranting aside, we have an expansion being done here for Doug's. We would expect a good chunk of this to be taken over by CCCP. He could benefit from the extra land, or what on earth? He's sort of made the front of this hut inaccessible now, which is dangerous. He's also made his warrior hut quite hard to use. Not impossible, but difficult to use. That's going to have a sort of backfire effect as well. Here we go. We're starting to see the side doors. Torok Makto comes in, but he doesn't watch the shaman, so Doug's gets the kill with an easy light. Now, we have a saying in the pro community. I pretend like I'm one of them, and that's lights are on. Typically, when you see the player cast the first lightning, that's when you, as a player, even if you're resolving not to charge lights, that's when you should get a light as well. Light over blast can be such an advantage for 2 evenly matched players that, yeah, we have the saying lights are on, which refers to the fact that, you know, a player has used lightning means you can't safely engage in a shaman duel anymore without fear of that lightning. So, if Doug's is focus, well, if Doug's cast the first light, if Torok is focused, he should now understand lights are on. No further shaman duels for the rest of this game are going to happen without the lightning spell. And there it is. Perfect answer from Torok Makto. Charges the light, kills Doug's. Doug's does get the earthquake down, but Torok's quick to pick up the kill with the lightning. So it looks like Torok's going to insist on his path. I wouldn't recommend doing this. There's a lot of Fire Warriors there and a Green Shaman that he's going to get flanked by. I don't think he's good enough to save himself with Landbridge should he get hit by the lightning. But it looks like Green doesn't care. Blue doesn't care either. The Fire Warriors aren't being used. There's absolutely no pressure going in onto the Shaman here. Torok Makto throws down the Ghost Army. He throws down 1 Earthquake, but he's walking into it. You've got to be careful doing this because you can sink. No, his Shaman is alright, but Cyan does respawn. Lightning! Very quick. Why did he cast the second Earthquake if he was planning to go in deeper? That seemed like a bit of a mistake, but he does kill Cyan's Shaman there, so it's at least a 1-for-1 trade. Meanwhile, the red and purple Shamans are working together by walking directly into the Fire Warriors. A little bit silly there. Cahokia is quite exposed, so we should see some tower plans on this strip. More towers on the hill would be fine as well. He's got the wood for it. He's certainly been slow about filling out his base, so he's got the capacity. Doug's using some land bridges to try and save the land. Perfectly acceptable response to the earthquake, but you should only really do it if there's stuff worth saving. Like that's just a patch of land, you know. Could have held on to the mana and used that for a side. Fire Warriors clicked on to Blue Shaman. Blue being a little bit aggressive here, and he is dead. Pushes a little bit too far in there without sort of enough swarm support. He used all of his swarms Remember, you do not have to walk forward with your shaman. You can walk backwards. It's okay. It might seem counterintuitive, but if you need to walk backwards with your shaman, do it. You know, walking backwards loses you 2 seconds. Dying loses you 40. Green shaman is in danger to a warrior of all things. Looks like Turok Makto died again, but not before dropping down a double earthquake. Turok's really aggressive about dropping down these double EQs. If he had a little bit better target acquisition, these could be really sort of, you know, carry-worthy EQs. But he's not quite casting them correctly. The placement's a little bit off, and you're getting these weird sort of ineffective doubles. I mean, this one was pretty poor. Green Shaman isn't paying attention. Gets hit by the lightning. You have, of course, TristanFR doing everything he can to hold on. Not let any shamans into his base. Oh. A little bit of Tony Hawk stuff, as Babo would like to say. As the Cyan Shaman rolls forward, throws out the EQ, gets pushed by the Fire Warriors into the water. Here comes Doug again. 2 swarms used. Blast killing off the Fire Warriors. These towers are completely empty. They don't do you any good if they're empty, but it doesn't matter. Doug's takes the Shaman duel with the Shaman on high ground. That's generally ill-advised. You want to be very careful about what you're actually doing. You don't just want to die for no reason. Yeah, good amount of that land ended up being taken by Doug's, fair enough. CCCP was quite slow about taking it. And also these outside bases do have this expansion avenue as well, so it's not like he took all the land and he's selfish and he's horrible, etc. Green Shaman does go down, but she throws down an earthquake. That's nice and deep. Gets a load of Fire Warriors, which is important. Purple could have saved them there if Purple was paying attention. If you blast Fire Warriors that are on fire, it actually stops them being on fire. The lava damage is an animation that being blasted cancels them out of. So you can actually keep troops alive after being earthquaked if you blast near them. The blasts will distract them enough that they'll forget that they're on fire and continue being in the game. This is good from Cahokiawarrior, actually. Building these towers forward, make sure you send the wood when you're building frontline towers, because often the trees aren't actually there to support it. Good land bridge from Doug's. He's made himself a highway into the base. Here comes a firestorm. Looks like there's no real defense. It looks like the purple lightning didn't find the kill either. So we have a nice firestorm, a nice deep earthquake. Gets a Fire Warrior training hat as well. The follow-up earthquake, not quite as good, but it's extra damage, which you like. Purple Shaman does go down, but so does Doug's. But Doug's can be very happy with that. He's used his spells. He can recharge and start again. Meanwhile, the red Shaman over here has died. Christo not able to launch an offensive while everyone else was busy with Doug's assault. Turok Makto wasting a little bit of mana there by land bridging. That does nothing for him. Doesn't need fixing. Might sound like I'm just being mean, but if you look at this, there's no space for a hut there. The ground is all damaged. There's not really anything TristanFR can do with that land, so it's just really a waste of a land bridge. Were Turok to come back 4 minutes later when this ground isn't damaged anymore and fill in that puddle so that there's, you know, 1 or 2 huts, then more understandable. But as it currently stands, that was sort of a useless land bridge. Meanwhile, the green Shaman, how did she get there? She's in the middle of Turok's base. She hasn't got anything, but she's there. She's just charging Tornado, being a nuisance. She got the Fire Warrior training hat. She got the Warrior training hat. Excellent use of just charging some tornadoes. Is she going to walk over here and get this one as well? No, is she going to die to these warriors? Stab, stabby, stabby, stabby. Yep, she just dies to those warriors. Fine. Got a Shaman duel coming out of the front here. Doug's gets the better hand of the red Shaman. Christo is now in trouble. Red Blue warriors charging forward. Blue fire warriors also pressing forward as well. One earthquake from Doug's. Are we going to see anything else? Only charge the one earthquake. No, there's a firestorm. That's good. That's good. No, I wouldn't have used that second earthquake. There's a warrior training hut right here, begging to be taken out as Torok's only warrior hut as well. Much more useful target, but if you've got the tornado, it's worth it. Nice attempt from Red to reset the push to get Blue Shaman into the water. Doug's is going to blast away these Braves to prevent them from training. It's a smart thing to do. The Swarm goes down just to prevent the Shaman from engaging in combat. Look at all these Braves dying. Keep blasting. Don't leave. Don't leave. Look how close to dead they are. No, Doug's. Why? More blasts. More blasts. More glory. We've got Tristan sat in a tower. One of the worst things you can do when you're under pressure is to sit in a tower. It seems like a good idea because you're like, I've got loads of light range, but it really just removes all pressure that you have on the map and allows the enemy to run circles around you. Their troops will go around you. Their shamans will go around you to your allies. If you're sat in a tower, you are not being helpful to the game. And it sort of shows, you know. If Cahokiawarrior is smart, he just goes over here, kills Christo in the duel and finishes Christo off. There's so many troops. Look at these blue warriors. He's just got to kill the shaman and help. And he does! Exactly what we warned against. You know, because purple was in the tower not being effective, Christo just gets to go over here. He's got blue warriors to help. That firestorm is going to kill a couple of troops, but it's an absolute waste of that amount of mana. You've got to remember, 2 firestorms is 1 volcano. In terms of mana, that's a lot of mana to use to kill 5 followers. Torok misses the light. He misses the follow-up blast. He misses the follow-up blast. And he loses the Shaman duel. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, it does look like Team 1 is going to win this game. Blue Warriors are running in everywhere. Another Firestorm on the exact same spot. Now imagine if those 2 spells were in a base, it might have been useful, but no. Cyan's going to use a Firestorm on some of Torok's base. Christo surrenders. It is GG. This is your average Joe's game, and it's been full of moments. I can say it's full of moments. Tristan surrenders. We should see Torok Matto now bow out as well. There it is. Nice, reasonably clean win for the Ducks team.